Thousands of years have passed. God's love for us remains the same. His desire to spend eternity with whom he created has never changed. In the garden, Adam and Eve disobedience, resulting in death entering into the world and knowledge of good and evil, separating us from God. Adam and Eve's punishment for their disobedience testified to the birth of Jesus, the serpent being addressed for his role in man's temptation and fall. And I will put enmity between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. The pronoun he and his are both capitalized. Jesus Christ is the one being referred to here. Nowhere else in Scripture are pronouns capitalized in this grammatical format, except for when Jesus Christ and God are being referenced. This was the first ever prophecy made by God of the coming Messiah. Cain and Abel, their responsibility being the first generations of those to come. The two, like their parents, failed to meet God's expectations, resulting in Cain being cursed for his action. By God's grace and his mercy, mankind, he gave them another chance, giving Adam and Eve yet another son, Seth being their third son, because Cain's descendants would only survive 8 generations before being completely wiped from the earth. Abraham was the father of faith, chosen for all the nations to be blessed through. Abraham lived a righteous and surrendered life to God. However, the generations that followed lacked the ability to remain faithful to God, which resulted in a generation of wicked and vile people here on earth, resulting in a race known as the Nephilim, considered to be half angel and half man. The enemy infiltrating yet again, then in his anger sent a flood to destroy the Nephilim and all the inhabitants of the earth. God in his mercy found Noah to be righteous of surviving the flood, presuming responsibility to preserve mankind and responsibility to be the father of every generation that would come after. Every nationality, every race has descended from one of Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, both Jew and Gentile. A Gentile being defined as anyone that is not of Jewish descent. The only way to come from a Jewish bloodline would be to have descended from one of Jacob's 12 sons. Jacob descended from Shem, Noah's son, who are collectively referred to as the Hebrew people, children of Israel, Jewish, Israelite. In his lifetime of Jacob, his 12 sons faced a famine. Sons sold one of their brothers into slavery, God taking something meant for evil and turning it into something for his glory. Joseph was elevated during his time in slavery, leading to Joseph having the power and resources to save his entire bloodline from the famine. Judah, one of Jacob's 12 sons, the older brother of Joseph, being the tribe that Jesus would descend from. We often say that the first sin took place in the garden. However, up until the law was given to Moses on Mount Sinai, there was no sin because there was no law. Disobedience and evil being the only defined actions and shortcomings of mankind up until Moses received the law from God. Moses, giver of the law, the mission given to Moses, lead God's people out of slavery and teach them how to live as God's people. God implementing this through giving the law. This is addressed in the book of Exodus. The Israelites received the 10 commandments. The law revealed sin but couldn't save the people from it. Though the law showed them what was right, it could not make them righteous. Until you know the law, you are unaware that you are breaking it. That was the purpose of the law that Moses received. The people were living corruptly, being disobedient. However, there was no law established to tell them that